Inspirational. Powerfully refining. And unapologetically controversial. Conversations with the Royal Empress. The entire world knows the secret of who you are. Now is the time to step into your queendom and become the Royal Empress that you're meant to be. One woman at a time. Conversations with the Royal Empress. Now Akila, she's the analytical Empress. Akima, she's the Empress that will challenge you. And Lakashay Nadira, she's the Empress who tells it like it is. Now, straighten up your crown and be elevated through conversations. Conversations with the Royal Empress.
Peace and blessings. Welcome and thank you for joining the first episode of Conversations with the Royal Empress. Your hosts are Dr. Hakima Jihad, attorney Akila Shabazz, and myself, Lakashay Nadira Muhammad. Our topic for this episode is reclaiming our crown. Black woman, do you know who you are? So this evening, ladies, sisters, I'm so excited to have our first conversation. And so feel free. We're talking about reclaiming our crown. Black woman, do you know who you are?
Yes, I know who I am.
I was getting ready to say that.
You was getting ready to say that?
Wait. I know who I am. My name is Light. Is your name Sam? But go ahead. I'm sorry. That's just...
My name is Light. Is your name Sam? Because if it is, step off. Grab your coat and get lost. All right. Okay. I'm stopping.
Okay.
I think in many circles. I mean, if I won't say in many circles, but in the Black community, we've gotten so far away from a matriarchal teaching, which is teaching African traditions or African culture or a knowledge of self, and a culture in which the Black woman is of great value. Well, in this society, it's a patriarchal society where the woman is not honored, she's not valued. So when you're in a society where the woman is not valued, you're not taught to love yourself. You're not taught to accept yourself, accept the greatness in yourself. So in our community, because we've gotten away from our own culture, gotten away from our knowledge of self, we have gotten so far away from a queen-like mindset or understanding that we are queens, that we are the original woman of the planet.
That's exactly what I was going to say, that who are we? We are the original woman. We are the mother of civilization. That's who we are.
Yes.
And I think that sometimes we don't understand that that's really who we are. That's who we come from. Everybody on this planet came from us.
That's right, sister.
Yeah, so we should walk around proudly and with our crowns held up high, understanding that you wear a crown. It doesn't have to be a literal crown, but you should walk out every single day with that crown on your head and your shoulders upright, walking straight, understanding that you come from greatness, that you come, everything comes from you. It's like, how do we not understand that? But there has to be resurrection. There has to be, we got to mine the mindset out of the Black woman again to let her know that she needs to reclaim her rightful place on this earth.
Wow, I love it, sisters. I'm really glad and I'm so excited that we have chosen this as our first topic. I mean, of course, why wouldn't we? Because we are the Royal Empress, and knowing and exactly who you are, understanding what that means. I remember when I went through a phase of being taught that I was the original woman, the Asiatic black woman, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, the God of the universe. When I heard that for the very first time, I mean, it wowed me, but it woke something up in me because there was something that had already been deposited in me from conception. And so sometimes you just have to wake it up. And when you mentioned resurrection, Akilah, that's exactly what I felt like. I was being resurrected because for the first time I was being reminded as to who I was. And it felt so good to know that, man, I am the mother of civilization, really? Everything else was patterned after me? I mean, that's absolutely amazing. And so I'm really excited because this is a platform that allows us to be able to talk and awaken the original black woman, reminding her of who she is. Because once we are reminded of who we are, then we're going to take our rightful place in society. Once we are reminded of who we are, then we will reclaim our crown. And so how befitting. How befitting.
Yes. Even when we walk around other places, people know when you know who you are, everybody around you knows who you are. You walk with it. You walk. It's like when we walk with that whole essence of royalty. Because people are looking, they're in awe. It's all of these things, especially when you know it. You wear it.
Yes.
You wear it, your whole spirit.
And you know, it's not a cocky thing. It's not something that you have to make up or something, you know how they say fake it till you make it. And that's why there's a difference of really knowing who you are. You don't have to go out of your way to prove that this is who you are to anybody because it's just in you. You've accepted it. And when you put your foot down, you know, on the ground, it's like the whole earth is shaking because the original woman has stepped out. When you go to other countries or you visit other places and people see you, everybody is bowing down, and I'm sure you all can bear witness. How many times have you walked in the room and you're the most beautiful thing in the room? Now, Shay, how many times has that happened to either of you sisters? I'm sure plenty, right?
I think it's
I'm just saying.
I agree. I think it's a mindset. You know, being beautiful is a mindset, and
right.
When you know that you're God's first creation, you can't feel nothing but beautiful. We don't have that knowledge that we are God's first creation, and this earth was created for us. We don't have that mindset. If we accept that, if we connect on to the original source, if we connect on to our Creator, we can get all the power that he chooses to give us. We'll walk around knowing that I am the original woman. I am God because of God created me. I am to be put on top of the earth so that everybody can see me. I'm beautiful. I am the epitome of beauty. And once we have that connection with the true and living God and share that mystery God thinking, we will come into the realization that we are beautiful because we are the prototype of a woman. Every other woman is a prototype. Every other woman comes from us. We're a prototype.
Every other woman, absolutely. And again, you know, I've noticed over the course of the years that our women and our men are wakening up. There is an awakening on the earth, and we are waking up little by little. And it's a beautiful sight because it is absolutely awesome to see those coming into the knowledge of who they are. And the more that it happens, then the more of an effect that it's going to have throughout the entire, you know, world. So it is a beautiful thing. And the more that I am able to have an opportunity to remind sisters, to remind brothers of who that black woman is. You know, when you think about that like you mentioned, the prototype, that everything has been everything has
patterned or modeled after the black woman.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Everything has been patterned after the black woman. Thank you, Akilah, for the rescue. Yes, I mean that's amazing, because we're not carbon copies. You know, everybody wants to look like the black woman, and that's anywhere you go. Everywhere you go, people want to know who we are. Where do we come from, right? So we tell them, you know, we are the original. And it doesn't get no better than this. Why would you want anything other than the original? I mean,
why would you want to be anything other than the original? Accept your own and be yourself.
Okay, there you go. I mean,
how else can you put it? Be yourself. Yes, see, because
absolutely.
No matter where you go on this planet, people are in awe. And when you asked that question, and we laughed about, I'm sure you've been places, but even when you go to other countries, people are fascinated, and we hear all of these things on the news about how everywhere, because we see so many negative things, and we especially see negative things as it pertains to black women. We're loud, we're this and we're that, but we're so much more than that.
Right. And a lot of those things, they are done purposely to distract us and to, feed us a negative sense of ourselves, on purpose, to take us away from what we really are and where we should be focused.
Yeah. And and just look at what we do on a regular basis. Black women, first of all, we have heard this before when we say that the black woman is the backbone of the nation, of us, and we always have been, because we are the mothers, we are the caretakers, we are every woman. We really are. And again, it's like people are mimicking us. Everything from how we look, with all this plastic surgery and things like that, and this excessive working out that others do, to even just get the form of the black woman.
The booty squats, the booty exercises for the squats that we don't have to do.
Everything. Right. And, and you hear people saying, oh, well, this person is getting this now, this person is getting that now. Yeah, they're working hard for it. So, it's certainly not genetics. And if it's genetic, you better shake that family tree a little bit. So, you shake that tree, you might get some brown folks gonna pop out if it's natural on other people. Okay,
right.
So let's just be realistic. Genetically, it's just not. That's not the norm. So it is a thing that has worked for us, but it's everything. We were just talking before our before the show, when we were talking about our music and how everybody mimics our music, and everybody, it's just like everything is just so patterned after us. And it's like if everybody else is excited about our culture and who we are, we need to be just as excited. And we need to understand that sometimes, even though I'm not necessarily one of those that believe that imitation is the best form of flattery, I know that's cliche and that's what people say, but you have to stop and think, why is everybody imitating me? Why does everybody want to be like me? Why does everybody want to dance like me? Why does everybody, it's just
want to talk like me?
Yeah, it's really amazing that we don't get that. But sister, pick up your crown. You don't need to look elsewhere. You don't need to be validated elsewhere. You come from greatness. That's just the bottom line.
Yes, you come from greatness. And what happens, unfortunately, when we don't know who we are and we have not been given that knowledge of self and that knowledge of God and where we come from, then it's so easy to get caught up in fantasy land. And so when we, see stories or things in the media that piques our curiosity, we're really searching for ourselves, whether it be a royal wedding or whatever the case might be. you have to ask, what is the deeper meaning in that? Every black woman or every woman on the planet wants to be adored and loved. So when you see us searching and seeking and being in awe with other people, it's only because we don't recognize that in truth, this is who we are. And so we look outside of ourselves to find joy and to find happiness. But black woman, I'm telling you right now, the joy and the happiness is deposited right inside of you. So while we look outside of ourselves, everybody is looking to the west. Everybody is looking over here and over there to see who you are. So the real black woman, with the real Royal Empress, will the real queen please stand up and take her rightful place and reclaim her crown?
And
that's the question
trouble,
that I ask.
Guess what? We can help you push that crown back up. If your sister's crown is a little tilted, straighten it up for her.
Hey. That's right. That's right. And that's how we make it happen.
Yeah,
that's called black girl magic, right? When we can take a look at our sister and we can straighten up her crown, right? That's true black girl magic.
Yeah, we have to call each other queens and not bitches, and not to be vulgar, but
absolutely.
We refer to ourselves as bitch, and it's become like a nickname, which it shouldn't be. But a bitch is a female dog, so we should not be calling each other dogs. We got to flip that dog around and accept ourselves for who we are. We are God, and that's what we should be accepting ourselves as, not as a dog, but as a God. And we have to get used to referring to each other as queen or as Royal Empress.
You know, one of the beautiful reminders, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he's always reminded us that when you educate a man, you educate an individual. But when you educate a woman, you educate a nation. Therefore, a nation, he says, can rise no higher than its woman. And so it is so important as we continue in the resurrection of our women that we, and I'm talking about all of those who are listening and having the opportunity to listen in to this podcast, it is important that each of us, we go back and we fix our sister's crown by reminding us of who we are. Because how can you know unless you have a teacher, right? How can you be taught? So if we all took our rightful place and decided, you know what? When I hear my sister being referred to as a bitch, and I know that that is not her name, then I have to stand up and say, no, ma'am, no, sir, don't refer to yourself as such. You are a queen. You know, sometimes it takes a reminder. A reminder is a mercy, and it's truly a blessing. So sometimes instead of us looking down at what we see out here, you know, that instead of looking down, we turn it around and we deposit something positive in it and be the best example that we can be. Because no, I am not a bitch, as Queen Latifah said. Who you calling us, right?
Right.
And she made it very clear. This was in the 90s when things were bumping and black women were being uplifted. But then, you know, there came a shift because the enemies of this world, they don't want the black woman to be reminded of who she is. But if you notice, the enemy of this world is constantly going after the black woman for a reason, because he understands that his only way into this earth really is through the black woman. He has her in high positions in the workforce. He depends on her. He uses her body parts. He uses her mind. Anytime he wants to try to create something, he has to tap into the black woman. So apparently he's showing you through his actions that there's something about that black woman that's not in, or nor can it be found in any other person on this earth. You know, now they're telling the truth, telling you through the History Channel and, you know, all of these other programs. They're telling you who the black woman is. They're telling you that all civilization, you know, before they weren't mentioning it. They knew it. They've been knowing it for a while. But now they're telling you who she is. So all I'm saying is, black woman, now that everybody else knows who you are, Do you know who you are, and are you willing to accept your rightful place?
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
And for the sisters that don't know, each one teach one, as that saying goes.
That's
I know
right.
it's just a slogan, but it's the truth. We all have to do our part to help to elevate one another. And even just getting into understanding when we talk about God, but just understanding that divine feminine energy that we all have and tapping into it, because it's real.
Yes,
it's real. We can do so many things when we put our minds to it, when we put our collective energies together. We can make changes. We can make shifts in this earth if we only knew how powerful we really were. But I think that because other people know that, that's why other things are being, or as they say, evil is being made fair seeming.
Right,
so that's why we're grasping on to all of these things. That's why these images of us, the negative images, are out there. But you can travel around the world, and we think that other people around the world see us in that negative light, and that's not necessarily true until you step foot off this continent. You may have people that come from other countries and act like that here.
Right.
But when you go there,
I want you to share, if you don't mind, just briefly, your experience when you did the last retreat as the sun rose. Just a bit of how the women that you were able to bring together in the energy that manifested, and how the rest of the people, when you were at that retreat, how they looked upon the queens that you had in your circle.
Wow.
Because I think it speaks to that.
That was such a powerful experience. I think I've said before that I really don't have a lot of words to describe the energy that was there, but it was so powerful in that there was just nothing but love in the house with us. I had women walking away saying, I feel like a new woman. Sisters were walking away just with this sense of pride that they had, and it was just incredible, and it was just really talking about who you are, reclaiming who you are. The theme was the art of self-fullness, not selfishness. And so becoming self-full is very different. It's not about being selfish or anything like that, but it's about acknowledging the wholeness of yourself. And that's really what we tried to work on, and I think that's what we got. You saw one sister, ever since we've come back, has been posting affirmations every single day.
Beautiful.
About who she
Tell
is.
me more about how the other women saw you all as they looked at the unity and just the beauty that was represented in these beautiful black women who were acknowledging who they were.
We got a lot of stares, of course. You know that. Just from people in general. You know how they have the gawkers? We had a lot of that, especially when we were on the beach, because a lot of the sisters were wearing head wraps and wearing, African attire and wearing, or just whatever they wore. But it was just a certain energy, I think, that we had, that it just commanded certain things. So we were in a grocery store one night, and this cashier asked one of the ladies that was with us, she said, are you with those other two ladies over there? She said, yes. Why? She said, are you guys mystics? And she looked like, what? But this is a black woman who's looking at us, because what it is they're looking like, okay, we're not used to seeing the sisters walking around like this. Who are
And
you?
where were you? We were
in Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Okay.
But that was the feeling that we got. We walked around. We got a lot of stares. We got a lot of people asking who we were. Who are you? Who are you? And so that's the thing, is that when you can walk with that sense of pride, people want to know who you are. Even the white people were asking who we were.
Of course. And I guess that's really what I wanted you to capture and share with our audience, because you made mention of the word, you used the word command. And what was exciting to me, or what was interesting about the experience that you shared, and I believe you shared this some time ago, but what was interesting about the experience is that you all commanded the whole room. You commanded everywhere you walked. People were really looking up and bowing down because they recognized who you were, because you recognized who you were. See, when you, and that's the whole point I want to make, here you had a gathering with many women who had come together, and you were speaking the language of understanding who you were. And through that, you put out a certain type of energy, and the energy is really what shook the people up.
And
it was the energy of the confidence. Absolutely.
Yeah, they gravitated.
Absolutely.
They really wanted to know. There was curiosity, and we had one incident where this young black girl asked one of the sisters, "Was she black?"
Interesting.
And she said, and she looked puzzled. She said, "Am I black?" "Huh? Yes, honey, I'm black." She says, "Well, I wonder because your skin is so pretty."
And this is a black woman
asking. This is
asking.
a black young girl, probably maybe 18, 19 years old. And so then another sister who was even darker, she said, "Well, I was wondering if you were black too." I think what she meant was, "Are you American blacks?" We don't know, but the question was, "Are you black?" And she didn't know that these were black people because she felt their skin was so smooth and beautiful that how could you be, well, I don't look like that. And those sisters said at that moment, okay, this is a teachable moment right now. So they grabbed her and pulled her to the side to start telling her who she is. But that's the type of stuff that we have to do. When you command that attention from somebody and they inquire, that's a teachable moment.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for sharing that experience. I just wanted you to kind of, share that again, just because I felt like this is exactly what we as black women who accept ourselves, and we are, as we reclaim our crown, this is the type of effect that it's going to have on the entire world, a reawakening. And so that's all we're doing. We're going through a phase where we're waking up again. And oh, what a beautiful day when all of our sisters are together in unity, accepting themselves, accepting our own and being ourselves, and loving who we are and who we were created to be, not desiring to change our skin complexion, but embracing the skin that God has given us. We are so beautiful as a people, and we come in so many different shapes, so many different sizes, so many different colors. I mean, who else can do that but us? We're the only ones that have that power. So I just think it's wonderful to just have this conversation, and just to remind us.
I'm just excited about us, period. I do like, sometimes you see some things that you go, oh my goodness, it's disappointing, but it's like, but you know what? Sometimes we have to lead with love, and especially as it pertains to us, as it pertains to your sister. So instead of getting mad, instead of calling names or things like that, when they don't know, just teach.
That's right.
And
that's
leading by example is huge.
Yeah.
Leading by example is huge, because if somebody watches you enough and they're around you enough and they see that goodness, it starts to rub off. It really does. It really does. But we do have to, we have to understand who we are, and we have to understand that we don't need other people's validation. We don't have to feel like we've arrived because we're the first something in somebody else's organization or family or anything.
Right. No, because see, that's the thing, when you do see those people making a comment or a reference to us being the first. Oh, she's the first black woman to whatever, fill in the blank. Or the first black man to fill in the blank. Well, the thing about it is we've been the first because we were the original. And there is nothing new under the sun. So anything that you see here, was already prior, given by us because we created that. We did that. Anything that we're seeing done lately, this is not new. People creating things, these things are not new. It's just that it was not broadcasted, Nobody wanted you to know that this was an original thought by the original man. So don't be excited to be the first anything when you already are the first. Nobody can make you the first because you already innately are the first. Don't buy into that. That's just somebody trying to sell you wolf tickets. Yeah. So they can take your crown.
There's nothing wrong with us being proud.
Oh, no, it's nothing wrong with being proud. Right. Nothing wrong with being proud.
Yeah, but it's not. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes we look at it like we've arrived, but you've arrived by whose standards? And see, that's I think where the problem comes in is that you feel like you've arrived now that you've done something that the dominant society, it is basically dominating. So here you come, oh, well, now we're doing this, now we're doing that. But if given the opportunities before, it would have already happened. So, so it happening today, it's like, well, okay, but this could have happened a long time ago. Right, and it would have happened a long time ago if given access. But we had our own then, our own companies, our own everything, particularly when segregation was going on. I mean, we had our own towns and governments that we were running.
We've always had our own.
We've always,
we talk about Wakanda and, us getting excited. Well, the reason we got excited because we were just being reminded of what we've always been, which is royal. We've always been royal empresses. We've always been kings and queens. It's just that somebody came and they knocked our crown off. And so now we have to come back and reclaim it.
And pick it back up.
That's right. Pick it back up.
Straighten it up.
And we can do that all together. We can do that all together, supporting one another, loving one another. Because the thing about it, when we love one another, when we love ourselves, then we don't have any issue or any problem helping one another and helping ourselves. When I look in the mirror and I see myself, I see my sister. And so that is the beautiful thing. Because every time, absolutely,
you want for your sister what you want for
your sister, want for myself. It can't go any other way. And so with that being said, I just want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in to our inaugural show. And we hope that you will join us every week for more conversations with the Royal Empress. So stay tuned for topics like the friend zone, rising above emotion, and colorism. And also, we hope that you will join us in the near future for our workshop on reclaiming your crown. Peace and blessings. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Conversations with the Royal Empress. Tune in next week for another enlightening conversation. For more information on the Royal Empress, please visit the website royalempress.org. You can also follow the Royal Empress on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Conversations with the Royal Empress is a subsidiary of the Royal Empress organization. All rights reserved.